Hello everyone. Today I am going to explain about low power design through voltage scaling. Okay, so here we are going to discuss about different methods to reduce the power consumption. So that is nothing but here low power design with or low power design through voltage scaling. Voltage scaling is nothing but while discussing scaling factors, we have considered that voltage scaling is nothing but reduction or the scaling, reducing of the actual voltage for a scaling factor. Okay, so that is nothing but here we have low power design through voltage scaling. Okay, so here we will examine the effects of reducing a power supply voltage VDD upon switching power consumption and dynamic performance of the gate. Okay, so here if we consider that the propagation delays, okay, if you consider the propagation delays of the gates, the logic gates here, if you consider, you have that is the propagation delay here from higher to lower, that is from logic 1 to logic 0, and at the same time logic 0 to logic 1, that is lower to higher. Okay, so the reduction of power supply voltage significantly reduces the dynamic power dissipation. Okay, how I can say this one means, here in the previous discussion, so the dynamic power consumption is the major component of the total power consumption that is taking place in CMOS VLSS circuits or CMOS logic gates, okay, or CMOS gates. Okay, so here in that equation, the average power dynamic power consumption P average is equal to alpha T multiply with C load, that is capacitance load, multiply with the VDD square, okay, and multiply with F clock we have. In the previous discussion we have seen. Out of that, all the parameters can influence this dynamic power consumption, but out of that we can easily reduce that power consumption by considering the voltage scaling, okay, or by considering reducing the power supply voltage. Okay, so the reduction of power supply voltage significantly reduces the dynamic power dissipation. Okay, inevitable design trade-off is the increase of delay. Okay, so this can be seen easily by examining the following propagation delay expressions for a CMOS inverter circuit. Okay, so if you consider a CMOS inverter circuit, the propagation delays whenever it is switching from higher to lower, that is logic 1 to logic 0, or whenever it is taking from logic 0 to logic 1. Okay, for both cases, here we have considered the equation of the propagation delay. Okay, out of that, tau PHL means the propagation delay whenever the inverter switching from higher logic to or higher value to lower value, that is logic 1 to logic 0, is nothing but C load by Kn VDD minus Tn multiply with 2 VTn by VDD minus VTn plus ln 4 VDD minus VTn by VDD minus 1. Okay, so this is the propagation delay, and at the same time here also whenever it is going with low to high, so here only one change is there. When we will get high to low means whenever the pull down transistor is in off condition, okay, at that point the capacitor, external capacitor or the load capacitor will discharge through that mass transistor, and the output will goes to the lower value, that is nothing but from higher value to lower value. That's why here we have considered that the threshold voltage of NMOS transistor. Now, if you consider this, the propagation delay at this point, here we have considered the propagation delay of PMOS transistor. Why it is PMOS transistor we consider the propagation delay means, so whenever in the inverter, CMOS inverter circuit, whenever there is a transition taking from lower value to the higher value means the PMOS transistor will be on and NMOS transistor will be off, so that the capacitor will charges to the higher value and the output we are taking across the capacitor, so we'll get a higher value at the output side. That's what here the propagation delay we have taken that from lower to higher. At that point we have considered that the threshold voltage of PMOS transistor. Okay, so this is about how this propagation delay, but how it will be decreases, how we can decide whenever we are reducing the power supply, automatically how it will decreases the propagation delay. That means what, if you observe here, it is present in the denominator. VDD is present in the denominator here and here. As we decreases this one, automatically the propagation delay will be more. As we increases this power supply, okay, as we increases this power supply, what happened here? As we increases this power supply, the propagation delay will be decreased because the denominator is consisting of VDD. Okay, so here like that, if you decreases the power supply, if you decreases the VDD, the power consumption will reduce, but the delay will be increases. That is the limitation of this voltage scaling on power and delay. Okay, so that is what here. If you reduce the VDD, automatically the delay will be increases. Okay, so that is the limitation of this method. That is what here I have mentioned. The direction of power supply voltage significantly reduces the dynamic power dissipation, but the inevitable design trade-off is increases the delay of the circuit. Okay, so that's what here we can reduce the power consumption by reducing the VDD or the power supply, but another what we call another problem we will get at that point is nothing but the propagation delay will be increases as we decreases the VDD, because it is present in the denominator. So the as the denominator decreases, the ratio will be increases. Okay, the ratio value will be increases, so the propagation delay will be increases as we decreases the power supply. That is the limitation we have here. So to avoid all these limitations, we are having some designs here. Okay, out of that we have to discuss another point. To compensate this increasing in the delay, we have to change the VTN. That is nothing but the threshold voltage of mass transistors. Okay, so whatever the value we are decreasing VDD, automatically we have to compensate that one by changing the threshold voltage. Okay, so we'll see how it will be, right? The dependence of the circuit speed on the power supply voltage may be also influence the relation between the dynamic power dissipation and the supply voltage at a constant switching frequency. So that's what I have considered here. P average is equal to, we have P average is equal to that is C load, that is load capacitance, and at the same time alpha T, that is nothing but no transition factor, and we have VDD square, and another one is what we have clock frequency. Okay, so this is the average dynamic power consumption. As we increases this VDD, automatically the power consumption will increases, but if you decreases or if you scale down this power supply, so there will be a possibility of reducing this power consumption. But at the same time, another problem will rise, that is nothing but the delay will be increased. Okay, so at that point means here we have to make constant frequency also. If the frequency is increasing also, there will be a increasing in the power consumption. Okay, so that's what here I have mentioned. So the dependency of circuit speed on the power supply voltage may also influence the relationship between the dynamic power dissipation and the supply voltage at a constant frequency. Okay, so that is what here the propagation delay expression shows that negative effect of reducing the power supply voltage upon delay can be compensated for if the threshold voltage of the transistor is scaled down accordingly. So whatever we are reducing here VDD, so according to that, we have to reduce the propagation delay also. Okay, sorry, we have to reduce this threshold voltage also. Then only we can reduce this propagation delay. Okay, so that's why here the point is the propagation delay expression shows that negative effect of reducing the power supply voltage upon delay can be compensated for if the threshold voltage of the transistor is scaled down accordingly. Then only we will reduce this propagation delay due to the decreasing in the power supply. Okay, so when scaled linearly, reduced threshold voltages allows the circuit to produce the same speed performance at lower VDD values. Okay, if you do or if you consider some basic precautions while they are scaling down the threshold voltage and VDD at the same amount. Okay, so we can avoid this performance, that is avoid this delay increasing value. Okay, so that's what here we have, how we can study that the effect of the scaling of voltage or the voltage decreasing will affects the power consumption and at the same time the delay on the circuit performance. Okay, so that's what here we have regarding that is what happened if you reduce the power supply or VDD value. Okay, so here what happened is, if you decreases this power supply, automatically the power consumption will be reduced. At the same time, there will be a problem will be there. What happened is the delay will be increased. Okay, that is the main problem we are getting as we scale down the voltage of the power supply. Okay, so here we are going to discuss two methods, that is variable threshold CMOS circuits method and multiple threshold CMOS circuit method. That is variable threshold VT CMOS and multiple threshold, that is MT CMOS. Okay, so we have two circuit design techniques which can be used to overcome the difficulties such as low leakage and high standby power dissipation associated with low threshold voltage circuits. Okay, so what we have considered, if you scale down the VDD, automatically you have to scale down the threshold voltage also. Okay, so that's the problem. Okay, if you reduce the threshold voltage, we'll get many problems. So we have two different two circuit design techniques which can be used to overcome the difficulties. Okay, so why we'll get such leakage and a high standard power dissipation means, so if you observe that if you reduce the threshold voltage, automatically there will be a problems will get the power dissipations. Okay, so that power dissipation is due to the subthreshold currents. Okay, at lower values, the power dissipation that is obtained is subthreshold currents will get. Due to that, the power consumption will take place. So to avoid all those things, we have two methods, that is variable threshold CMOS technology and at the same time multiple threshold CMOS technology, that is MT CMOS. Okay, now we'll consider the first one here, variable threshold CMOS technology. Okay, so we have seen that using low supply voltage and a low threshold voltage in CMOS logic circuit is an efficient method for reducing the overall power dissipation, but while maintaining the high speed performance. Okay, so designing a CMOS logic gate entirely with low threshold voltage transistors will inevitably lead to increase the subthreshold leakage and consequently to higher standby power dissipation when the output is not switching. That's what we have discussed in the previous classes, that is subthreshold current discussion. The above problem can be overcome by adjusting the threshold voltages of the transistor in order to avoid the leakage in the standby mode by changing the substrate bias. Okay, so what is this substrate bias? That is nothing but while discussing the threshold voltage and body effect, the threshold voltage will varies with the substrate bias. Okay, so that effect is also called as what, body effect or substrate effect. Okay, so that's what here we have. The above problem can overcome by adjusting the threshold voltages of the transistor in order to avoid the leakage in the standby mode by changing the substrate bias. So if you change the substrate bias, that is that automatically changes the threshold voltage. Okay, so as the substrate bias increases, the threshold voltage also will increases. As the substrate bias decreases, the threshold voltage will be normal value, that is we can make use of that one, that is VGS equal to 0. Okay, or we can also set that VGS value as required. Okay, so the above problem can overcome by adjust the threshold voltage of the transistor in order to avoid the leakage and in the standby mode by changing the substrate bias. Okay, the threshold voltage VT of NMOS transistor is a function of its source to substrate bias, or we can also call it as body to that is called as what, body to source voltage. Okay, so generally we are making connections operations means will make that substrate and source always ground. Okay, so if there is a voltage difference between the substrate and what we call the source, that is the problem. That is nothing but the body and source. There will be a problem. The threshold voltage effects will be obtained. Okay, so here, but we have to use less threshold voltage. That means we have to compensate that less threshold voltage with what? The substrate bias. Okay, so that's what here we are going to consider. Okay, so for that I am taking this diagram here to explain the variable threshold CMOS circuit. Okay, in conventional CMOS logic circuit, the substrate terminals of all NMOS transistors are connected to ground potential. Okay, so here in conventional CMOS logic circuit, the substrate terminals of all NMOS transistors are connected to the ground, and while the substrate terminal of all the PMOS transistors are connected to the VDD. Okay, so that's what here we have. If you draw that one, an inverter circuit, suppose this is NMOS and this one is what? The PMOS. So these two will be connected and it is given as the input here. But here we have another terminal for PMOS. This one is VDD here, and this one is what? VSS. Sorry, this one is ground or VSS we can consider. So always this is NMOS. So the substrate or body will be shorted with the source. Okay, so this one is the source and this one is the drain. And at the same time here, we will short this one to the VDD. Okay, so always this substrate or body will be connected to the VDD. Okay, so this is what we have here. The connection will be there. In conventional CMOS logic circuit, the substrate terminals of all NMOS transistors are connected to the ground potential, while the substrate terminal of all the PMOS transistors are connected to the VDD. Okay, so what is the use of that? Means this ensures that the source and drain diffusion regions always remains reverse bias with respect to the substrate, and that threshold voltages of the transistor are not significantly influenced by the body effect. Okay, whenever if you connect like that, we can always operate these diffusion regions, that is source and drain diffusion regions, always in the reverse bias with respect to the substrate. Okay, that will avoid the body effect. Okay, in VT CMOS circuit techniques, the transistors are designed inherently with a low threshold voltage, and the substrate bias voltages of NMOS and PMOS transistors are generated by a variable substrate bias control. Okay, so then what we have to consider? We are reducing the power supply. Automatically we have to scale down the threshold voltage. But if you scale down the threshold voltage, the delay is increasing. So to avoid that one, we will supply the required amount of threshold voltage at the required conditions by changing the substrate bias. Okay, so that's why here I have considered that this one is the PMOS and this one is the NMOS, but here the substrate bias we have here. Okay, instead of connecting this one to the VDD and at the same time this one to the ground, so I am considering this substrate bias control circuit. So depending on the changing the substrate bias, automatically there will be a change in the threshold voltage of the PMOS and NMOS transistors. That's why the design will be taken place like this. Because if you reduces the threshold, if you reduces the power supply, automatically you have to scale down the threshold voltage. So whenever you are scaling down the threshold voltage, there will be a problems will obtain. To avoid that problems, we will supply our substrate bias or we will change the substrate bias according to our requirement by using the substrate bias control for this circuit. Okay, so here I am taking this inverter circuit, CMOS inverter circuit. It consists of NMOS and it is PMOS and NMOS. And if you observe this one, the substrates are connected to the substrate bias circuit or bias control circuit. So they will give or they will operate that substrate bias will operate whatever the threshold voltage required. Okay, so like this we can avoid this threshold voltage effect here. In VT CMOS circuit techniques, the transistors are designed inherently with a low threshold voltage, and the substrate bias voltages of NMOS and PMOS transistors are generated by variable substrate bias control circuit. Okay. So here, if you how we can see the operation of this circuit. When the inverter circuit shown in figure is operating in its active mode, okay, the substrate bias voltage of NMOS transistor is V on equal to 0. Why, when we call this one is active mode means whenever, if you observe this one, this transistor is on, it is going with a higher voltage, that is from 0 to logic 1. Okay, so when the inverter circuit is operating and its active mode, the substrate bias voltage of the NMOS transistor is V on equal to 0. When V on equal to 0, substrate bias is equal to 0. That is, source and substrate are connected to the ground. At that point, bias voltage of PMOS of the transistor is connected to the VDD. Okay, thus the inverter transistor do not express any backgate bias effect or the substrate effect, or body effect. Okay, so the circuit operates with low VDD and low VT, benefiting from both low power dissipations. Okay, so because of this substrate bias control, here we are applying substrate bias equal to 0 and here 0, so that we can operate this power supply and at the same time VDD at the lower values, and so that we can reduce the power consumption. Okay, so this is variable threshold CMOS. Why it is called as variable threshold CMOS means, so depending on the substrate bias control circuit voltage, so the threshold voltages are varying. So that's why it is called as variable threshold CMOS circuits. Variable threshold CMOS circuit. How we can vary means, by varying the substrate bias control, we are varying the threshold voltages of PMOS and NMOS. That's why this technology is called as what? Variable threshold CMOS circuit technology. Okay, so that is what here we have. When the circuits operate with low VDD and VT, benefiting from both low power dissipation and high switching speed. So if you operate that with low VDD and low threshold voltage by using this technique, so that will affect on the power dissipation. That is, it will lowers the power dissipation because we are using low VDD and high switching speeds. Okay, so due to the low threshold voltage, we will get high switching speeds. Okay, so this is about the importance of this substrate bias control circuit. Okay, so next we have, when the inverter circuit is in the standby mode, however, the substrate bias control circuit generates a low substrate bias voltage for the NMOS transistor and high substrate bias voltage for the PMOS transistor. That's what we have discussed. Whenever it is in active mode, the threshold voltage required is nothing but 0.2 volts here, and here minus 0.2 volts, exact opposite one. But whenever it is present in that active mode, we will apply the substrate bias voltage as 2 volts for the PMOS transistor and 0 volts for the NMOS transistor. But whenever it is in standby mode, we have to operate that 0.6 volts here and minus 0.6 volts whenever it is in standby mode. Okay, so at that point, we will increase the substrate bias control. That is, here for NMOS transistor, it is minus 2 volts, and for PMOS transistor, it is 4 volts in standby mode. Okay, like this, we are going to reduce the power consumption. At the same time, we are reducing the threshold voltage required, and at the same time, we are increasing the speed of the circuit performance. That is what here we have variable threshold CMOS circuit. Okay, this is the block diagram of that variable threshold CMOS circuit, and here the very important point is the substrate bias control circuit. So it will always changes. Whenever it is active mode, it will supply 1 voltage to the substrate, and whenever it is in standby mode, it will supply another voltage, that is minus 2 volts in standby mode and 4 volts in standby mode for PMOS and for NMOS and PMOS respectively. Okay, so this is what we have variable threshold CMOS circuit, right? So next, as a result, the magnitudes of the threshold voltages VT1 and VT both increases in the standby mode due to the backgate bias circuit. Okay, since the subthreshold leakage current drops exponentially with increasing the threshold voltage, the leakage power dissipation in the standby mode can be significantly reduced with this technique. So where we are getting this leakage currents means whenever we are applying the threshold voltage is lower value. Okay, but here what is happening here means at 0.2 volts, whenever it is in active mode, the threshold voltage, and it is minus 0.2 volt whenever it is in active mode for PMOS transistor. But at the same time, we are reducing the substrate bias also to the 0 for NMOS and at the same time for 2 volts for PMOS in active mode. So at the same time, whenever it is standby mode means we do not keep these threshold voltages to at 0.2 volts. Okay, we have to increase, otherwise we will get the sub-threshold effects. Okay, so to avoid that, whenever this transistor is in active mode, we'll apply the lower threshold voltages and at the same time low substrate bias voltages. But whenever it is in standby mode, we have to increase the threshold voltage, otherwise we will get the problem of sub-threshold currents. Okay, that's why here, if you observe, for standby mode, it is 0.6 volts for NMOS and minus 0.6 volts for PMOS. Okay, at that time, we also increases the substrate bias control. Okay, so we are not completely avoiding that, but we are reducing some power usage here. That is nothing but variable threshold CMOS circuits, right? So as a result, the magnitude of the threshold voltages VT1 and VT both increases in the standby mode due to the backgate bias effect. Since the subthreshold leakage current drops exponentially with increasing threshold voltage, the leakage power dissipation in the standby mode can be significantly reduced with this technique. Okay. Now, the VT CMOS technique can also be used to automatically control the threshold voltages of the transistor in order to reduce the leakage currents and to compensate for process-related fluctuations of the threshold voltage. Okay, so this approach is also called as self-adjusting threshold voltage scheme, that is SATS. Okay, so why it is called as self-adjusting threshold voltage? Here, because of this substrate bias control, here the threshold voltage will be varies accordingly depending on the requirement. So because of that, it is self-adjusting the threshold voltage by changing the substrate bias voltage. That's why this VT CMOS, that is variable threshold CMOS technology or technique, we also consider as what? Self-adjusting threshold voltage schemes. Okay, self-adjusting threshold voltage scheme, that is SATS. Okay, the variable threshold CMOS circuit design techniques are very effective for reducing the sub-threshold leakage currents and for controlling the threshold voltage values in low VDD and low threshold voltage applications. Okay, here we are doing by using this technique, variable threshold CMOS circuit technique, we are reducing the low power consumption, and at the same time the leakage power consumption or leakage current we are controlling. Okay, at a low VDD and at the same time at low VT applications. Okay, so now what are the drawbacks of this technique? So this technique usually requires twin well or triple well CMOS technology in order to apply the different substrate bias voltages to different parts of the chip. Okay, so what happened is, if you consider this one, we are using what we are supplying at the active mode, we are applying threshold voltages 0.2 volts for PMOS and minus 0.2 volts for 0.2 volts for NMOS and minus 0.2 volts for PMOS. But at the same time, at the time of standby mode, we are increasing the threshold voltage. So this varying of this threshold voltage will be more difficult in this technique that we are using. This technique usually requires twin well or triple well CMOS technology in order to apply different substrate bias voltages for different parts of the chip. Okay, because we are varying this subthreshold substrate bias voltage, automatically the threshold voltage will vary. But to supply this, we will require more technology, that is twin well or triple well CMOS technology. That is one disadvantage, right? Separate power pins may be required if the substrate bias voltage levels are not generated on chip. Okay, so if the substrate bias voltages we are not generating, we are not present that circuitry on the chip. So what we have to do is we have to connect that one from the external bias so that it will increases the area on the chip. Okay, so due to the substrate bias control circuitry. So these two are the drawbacks what we have for variable threshold CMOS technology. So this is one example here what we have, the block diagram of typical low power circuit what we have here in this variable threshold voltage CMOS technology. Okay, so here it consists of here the block diagram mainly consists of input-output circuits, signal level converter, and now here internal circuitry with low threshold voltage and threshold voltage control and DC to DC voltage converter. And finally, we have signal level converter and input-output circuits. So how it will operate, I will explain here. So input-output circuit. Here we have signal level converters at the input side and at the same time output side. Okay. So at the input side, we are getting some signal here. So that signal level will be, we have to decrease. Okay. And we have to apply that one to the actual circuit, internal circuit with low threshold voltage. Whatever we have considered the CMOS inverter circuit here, this circuit is the internal one, right? So after that, what we have here, DC to DC voltage converter. So what is its importance means, here it will convert the higher DC voltage to the lower DC voltage. So that's why it is called as DC to DC voltage converter. That lower value, this is here represented as VDDL. So that is the lower value. That lower value will apply it with the internal circuit with low threshold voltage. Okay. At the same time, threshold voltage control we have, that is nothing but substrate bias control. What we have used, that internal circuit we use here, that represent the threshold voltage control. Okay. So like this, we have operating here. We are reducing the signal level here. Due to that, some power consumption will be reduced. And we are also reducing the higher value of DC to the lower value. And we are controlling the threshold voltage. Combinedly, we can reduce the power consumption. And the output of this circuit will consider as signal level converter again. Here we have making that higher level to the lower level signal converter. Here we will convert that one to lower level to the higher level, because we are taking at the output side that signal. So we have to apply for the another what we call drives or drivers or loads. What we have to apply these things to the loads. That's why here we have to increase the signal level, or we have to amplify this signal level like this. Okay. So that is what here. The input and output circuits of the chip usually operate with high external supply voltage in order to increase the noise margins and enable the communication with the peripheral devices. So this input-output circuit, the output of this circuit will be increased. The output signal level will be increased because we have to connect that output to the peripheral devices. Okay. So next, an on-chip DC to DC voltage converter generates the low internal supply voltage, that is VDDL. That's what I told, that the higher voltage DC voltage to the lower DC voltage, that is VDDL, which is used by the internal circuitry. So whatever the internal circuitry we have, so that is using lower VDD value. Due to that, the power consumption will be reduced. So two signal swing converters, level converters, are used to reduce the voltage swing of the incoming input signal and to increase the voltage swing of the outgoing output signal. So why we have to increases this one means it has to drive the input output circuits of the peripheral devices. So we have to increase the signal level of this output signal. Okay. So the internal low voltage circuitry can be designed using VT-CMOS techniques, where the threshold voltage control unit adjusts the substrate bias in order to suppress the leakage currents. We have to suppress the leakage currents. So we have to adjust the internal resistance also. Okay. So this is what here the circuit we have for the block diagram of a typical low power circuit we have. Okay, with the variable CMOS technology, that is variable threshold voltage CMOS technology, right? So this is about the method that is used to reduce the power and at the same time the leakage power whenever it is in the standby mode, by varying the threshold voltage also. Okay. So this is about VT-CMOS, that is variable threshold CMOS technique to reduce the power consumption. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Subscribe our channel.